Welcome to Bob Folkrod's Hunting Adventure. This week we're going to Idaho. Before we get to what I'm hunting in Idaho, I had the privilege to hunt elk out there before some brain-dead politician decided to devastate the deer herd by turning the timberwolves loose. I don't know how one state can afford to lose that kind of revenue. But this week we're going to go hunt the mountain lion and the bobcat in Idaho, and we'll cross over into BC and hunt the Canadian lynx with Cam Lancaster. Rest in peace, my friend. What a fantastic hunt you put on. I tell you what, you're missed. So exciting hunts coming right up. Bobcat, Canadian lynx, and mountain lion. So you snowflakes, get up and leave the room before the show starts right now.
Victor Chevrolet, Bass Pro Shops, and Alamocitos Ranch present Bob Folkrod's Hunting Adventures. Seven continents, 80 species, a 5-year quest in the making. High adventure, dangerous game, real-world training tips. This is Bob Folkrod's Hunting Adventures.
The mountain lion is one of the supreme predators in North America. The largest males may weigh over 200 pounds each and stretch more than 8 feet from nose to tail. This puts him near the top of the food chain. Redhead pro hunter Bob Folkrod has come to the Selway Bitterroot Wilderness area of central Idaho for a lion hunt on more than 1 million acres of rugged, wild country. Bob joins outfitters Jason Klinkenbeard and Travis Regier for a 50-mile snowmobile ride that will take them to a camp on the edge of the wilderness.
We're getting ready to travel through some pretty awesome country. You've seen it, but you haven't been in the winter time. We got to go up over top of a divide here, and it's just under 50 miles in.
And we're going to get more snowmobiling than those folks that book a trip. Yeah. You know, walking on snowshoes and plus a lion hunt. Yep. Yeah. I'm excited.
A few years ago, Bob teamed up with Jason to take on bull elk in the Selway Wilderness during the peak of the rut.
Oh, listen to him, listen to him.
Steep mountains, bugling elk, lots of excitement calling elk in, and fond memories of a successful hunt drew Bob back again into these rugged and pristine mountains.
Right.
To get around, they travel on mountain roads that are impassable to vehicles throughout the winter. It's a wilderness wonderland, with early snow decorating the mountains, and hurrying trout streams still free of ice and loaded with trout, something the Selway River is also famous for. Arriving in camp means a chance for a hot meal and a warm bed as they rest up for tomorrow's hunt. Incredible athletes, a mature cat can leap 15 feet straight up into a tree, cover 25 feet of forest floor in a single bound, and break the neck of a 400-pound elk in a single jerk. Adult cats may kill a deer or other big game at least once a week. They need 8 to 12 pounds of meat daily to stay healthy. And while these tawny predators are an important and much admired part of nature's mosaic, their numbers can sometimes deplete deer and elk herds dramatically.
Since about the late 1980s, elk calf recruitment rates, and that's survival of calves to adulthood, has been extremely low, and one of the implications is that mountain lion predation is one of the factors causing that.
Studies of radio-tagged elk calves in some areas of Idaho indicate that predators, most often lions, take between 30 and 80% of the young elk each spring. With an overabundance of lions, elk calf survival really suffers. Idaho game managers like regional biologist George Pauly are attempting to improve mule deer and elk numbers in some areas by reducing cat populations via managed hunting.
For a considerable stretch of time, we could only harvest one lion per person each year, and now over much of the backcountry in central Idaho, we're up to a 2-lion bag limit. We have a tremendous supply of mountain lions right now, so we're certainly capable of taking 2 lions per year per hunter. And there are standards and guidelines set up in the plan to ensure that we're not taking too many lions, and that, you know, even with elevated harvest rates, that we continue to maintain healthy, viable mountain lion populations across all of Idaho. And we have some excellent opportunities for some very challenging hunts.
Leaving camp the next morning, the hunters head into some of the nation's wildest mountain country. Some of the guides head out in different directions, trying to cut the track of a lion. The bells on the dogs will allow the outfitter to keep track of his hounds when they're not baying a cat. Like most big game hunting, it's a lot of walking, which always seems to be uphill, a lot of waiting, and a lot of hoping.
Yesterday we had a pretty good climb. We got up there, we thought we had him tree, and he came off, came across the river. And right now we got Travis up here. We're going to put the dogs onto him, see whether they can pick him up again or not.
Sounds like the hounds have struck a hot trail. Now things could get interesting in a hurry. The hunters try to position themselves on ridges so that they can hear the chase going on below. Hopefully, they can move in quickly when the cat takes to a tree to escape. The change in barking will let them know when the lion is treed.
You can hear them hounds off.
He's down in that gully a little bit, ain't he?
Yeah, like a good guide always says, we're just around the corner.
Just another 10 minutes.
Bob Folkrod's Hunting Adventures is brought to you by these fine sponsors: Vortex, Best of the West Rifles, Huskama Long Range Optics, Kinetrek, Kufaru, and LJ Blessings Ranch.
The new Victor Chevrolet building is now open. Visit us at 7200 Pittsford Victor Road, Route 96 near Eastview Mall, or victorchevrolet.com.
All right, when you see me coming home, my Kinetrek boots are going to be in a bag like this because, number one, they're soiled, they're dirty. So once I get them back home, obviously they look like that, you know. Actually, they're not too bad. Well, the first thing I do is I take these strings right out of them. Right boot, right string, so I put that over my chair right there because, I don't know, just because those shoestrings get a set into them, I put them back in the same boot. I don't know if you can see that, you know, but that's starting to get a little frayed on the end, which sometimes makes that hard to go back in again. So we go steal the fingernail polish, clear fingernail polish. That hardens that back up again and makes it easier to put back in again. Okay, now what I do is I'm going to take these in, fortunate enough to have a great big old sink. I'm going to go in there and I use Dawn dish detergent, hot water, brush, and I scrub these things up and try to get absolutely all the dirt back off them again. And just sit there and let these dry now. You might find something better, but this has really worked out great. It's a waxy, it puts the color back into it and it gives it a waterproofing. And I don't have a dime invested in sharing that with you. It's just something that happens to really work good for me. I use a toothbrush to put it on. I make sure I get it under all the places where them shoelaces are gonna go. So I say boots are expensive. How that's soaked in now. I mean, obviously on the rubber it hasn't, but that's okay because I want some of that on the rubber. Because then I take a regular shoe brush, take some, I find they go back in easier when you spray them down with a little powder. You can see how it turns them nice and white inside. A little powder in there even makes them smell good, and I guarantee he wouldn't do that before I cleaned them. Left boot, left shoestring. See how that's all hardened up? These should go in there pretty good now. Back in the same spot. You take what was left, and I put some of that on them shoestrings. At least 12 sheep hunts on that boot. Put it this way. At least 12 successful sheep hunts. I got a wax onto them, and it's kind of, so I don't want that to soil my brand new clothes that I'm going, so I put them back in the bag. And I can honestly say, man, them Kenetrek boots have really taken care of me well. Especially when you've been on as many sheep hunts, or just hunts in general, as what I have. There you have it. I'm ready to go on the next hunt. And guess what? The next hunt is going to be another sheep hunt up in Alberta in September. So you take care of your boots and they'll take care of you. Thank you, Kenetrek, for making a great boot. And that, my folks, is the tip of the day.
They're barking treed. Now it's time to move in.
Is that the way they went? All right.
Alrighty, guys. What we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to slide down around the tree and get underneath it for a good direct on shot.
Yeah.
This cat's really nervous. It's bailed one time in the second tree. We want to get where we can get a good shot. What we'll do is we'll work our way down through there, get set up where we can get a good shot on her.
Okay. I get right next to that tree right on the other side of you, Jason. I get a good shot from right there.
The trick with a treed cat is not to spook it out of the tree, which can lead to extending the chase for hours longer. The dogs are tied up so that they won't jump on the cat if it comes out of the tree wounded. Even an injured lion can quickly kill several dogs in a melee. Bob moves around the tree, looking for just the right angle to finish the job with a single shot.
Now we're shooting.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. It's been a couple days, 3,000 foot straight up and straight down. This is something, I'll tell you. This is tough. But this is a real predator. This is what Idaho wants. You need to come and try this. It's been fantastic. This is definitely a team effort. So I'm excited.
Before long, the whole crew arrives to help pack out the lion and get the dogs back to camp. And removing the cat from the population may mean up to 50 more elk or deer in this stretch of mountains next year. With well-managed hunting as an effective population control, the lions, the deer, and the elk maintain the delicate balance between predator, prey, and habitat that creates nature's endless web.
Although Bob completed his obsession quest taking over 80 animals with a rifle, his first love has always been bow hunting. He's teamed up with longtime friend and archery coach Mike Price to help make you a better bow shot. This week's archery lesson is brought to you by Heritage Archery Academy and these great archery sponsors: Easton, Hoyt, Limb Saver, Gateway Feathers, and Tactical Hearing.
I love this one. I've watched people put up tree stands, and I can't even begin to tell you, between my deer camp and bear camps and hunting all over the place, on how many tree stands I put up. And it amazes me to watch it. I mean, we should do a video on people putting up tree stands. This is one indication of some of the things I've seen, okay? Everything I do, whether it's pulling my bow up, pulling my pack up, I've got a rope hook to me that I can pull this up. And here's what happens, okay? Guy comes up and he puts a tree stand up, he gets to this point, and he realizes his buckle and everything is on the wrong side of the tree. So instead of changing it, you know, he's doing one of these numbers, trying to get around. Okay, I gotta show you, okay? We'll start back at the ground. Where do you think the deer's coming from? Which way do you think your tree stand's gonna be pointed? Okay, just an indication. I think I'm gonna go on the opposite side because I think the deer may be coming from right in front of you, okay? So now let's look at our tree stand, okay? Our tree stand, as it comes up, and this is gonna go around the tree, okay? And I'm leaning back against my harness. Where is the buckle? On this side of the tree, okay? On this side, right here. This is where all my working mechanism is, okay? So, I'm going to put my step stick on the same side of the tree as what my working mechanism of the tree stand is. So, the tree stand's gonna face that direction. You always keep in your mind, what happens? What if I fall? Okay? If I'm working on this side of the tree, okay, and I'm gonna fall, I'm gonna land right on top of that tree stand, okay? So you sit there and you throw it off to the side, say, get it off to the side. What's on the ground? You got any sharp sticks pointed up? That if you do fall, it's not gonna go through you like an arrow, okay? So you look around and say, okay, I think I'm pretty good. Now once you start to leave the ground, you need to be buckled up onto the tree. So as you're coming up the tree, you want to make sure you got a hold of something in case that happens to break away. I'm going to go up here. Guess what side the buckle's on? Now, in this case, these things can be heavy. Okay, there you go. It can be around the step. Okay, now you got both hands free to bring this thing up. Let the thing hang. Get around here. Okay. Now we're going to bring it up to the working position. Everything's on this side of the tree now. As always, jackknife it up, get it nice and tight where you want it. Where do the accidents happen? Getting in and out of the tree stand. Okay, position it, make sure it's tight. Okay, put a little pressure on that. She's nice and locked in. Okay, putting a little more pressure onto it. There you go.
Transportation for all of Bob Folkrod's hunting adventures is provided by Victor Chevrolet. Check them out at victorchevrolet.com.
Yeah, we just got a fresh lynx track down the road. They're collared up the dogs and wind's blowing pretty hard. We got our butt kicked yesterday on one of these lynx. Man, he ran and ran and doubled back and tripled back across this and ran down the road and come back on our track again. And it's not a cakewalk, I can tell you that. Wind's blowing real hard today right now. I don't know what's going on, but we got a real fresh lynx track, man. We can get this one to go up. This will make our 5th lynx that we've ran, so we ain't got one to go up a tree yet. Got a couple mountain lions up a tree and a bobcat, a couple bobcats up a tree, and some of the guys have been able to get some of those, but so far we haven't got a lynx up the tree.
Hey boys, load up, load up.
What's that? That's part of the Obsession Quest right there, the Canadian lynx. That gives me all my animals, or all my cats right there for sure. Right down to the last hour too. Last day of the hunt, lynx run across the road in front of us. It was meant to be right there. Yeah. Well, we got a mountain lion this week. We got 4 lynxes, 4 bobcats. Pretty awesome hunt.
This segment has been brought to you by the Victor Chevrolet Deal of the Week. Check them out at victorchevrolet.com. VictorChevrolet.com. Find new roads.
Victor Chevrolet, same place I get my trucks from, and you should too.
Well, right now we're collaring up here. We hit a fresh lynx on the road, fresh track. We had a little skiff about 3 this morning, and it's on top of the skiff, so we should jump it pretty quick and hopefully pull him up a tree. We got beat up hard yesterday by one cat, and we're getting revenge on him today. Here we go.
Got that lynx up in the tree. Been a long one. We put it on a couple lynxes in the tree. Couldn't find them, so we never know when we're going in whether we're going to find them or not. But this one crossed the road. We see him crossing the road. This is the last day. Flying home tomorrow. Actually going to Illinois for the 3-day muzzleloader season. So we're heading in here to see if we can't find this cat. One that you see the tree better than one you can't see the tree.
For help with all of your hunt booking needs, contact J&M Safaris at jnmsafaris.com. After your successful hunt of a lifetime, contact Wes Good at CanadiStudio.com for the finest taxidermy in the business. Be sure to follow Bob and all his adventures at bobfolkrod.com/TV and facebook.com/bfolkrod. And don't forget to hit the like button.